Okay, so what I want to do is create an exploding apple effect. So for that, I'll delete and just keep the original apple footage like this. So I just have one image added to a composition. That's what I have now. What I need to do now is think logically and recreate the effect. So it's a good thing to rename your layers. So I'm going to select the layer, press enter, and type, let's say, 3 apples. Now, the second thing I need to do is actually hide the apple that I'm going to explode. Let's say the one at the right. So I'm going to press Ctrl D and rename this layer to let's say right apple matte, which is the cover that will cover this apple here. But I need to sample the same color. So what do I do? What I do actually is go to my pen tool and create something like this. So because this might not be actually one solid color, it's probably a gradient of close colors. Therefore, it's best really to create this part, and then I would actually scale it. So I take it from here, and I don't really want to scale the mask. What I want to do is scale the layer. So I go to transform and uncheck the scale lock, and I'll scale horizontally and I'll move it into place. So I'm gonna undo. It's not scaling properly now because the anchor point is away. So if I take my anchor point and move it here, and then I scale, it will scale properly instead of moving to the side. So now that I've done this, remember the anchor point is the center of position, rotation, scale. Now that I've done this, what I need to do is move it into place. So I just move it like this and scale it a bit more. Alright, and preferably fix the mask so that it's a better cover for the apple. So the way to do this is to go back to the pen tool. Whenever I click, I add a point here, and then with my selection tool, I can drag this down to the right. I need to lower this down a bit and add another one here, and just adjust the position properly. So something like this is okay. Alright, so now I've covered the apple, but I don't want it to cover right away. What I needed is to, of course, I can remove the signature the same way. What I need to do is to do that over a few frames. So what I need to do then is animate the opacity of that. So I'll go down and check opacity, scrub the time, say 15 frames later, and set the opacity to 0. Actually, it should be the opposite. So it should come to 100, but start at 0. Because at the beginning, we want to see the apple, and then it should disappear. So when you play, it gradually disappears, and we're going to take this. If I find it too slow, I'll just put it a bit before, and now it goes faster. Alright, remember that you can zoom in from here so that you can really change the time. Alright, so now that we have this, I need a third layer that will actually be just the apple with the explosion. So I'll reselect this, I'll press Ctrl D, and I'll place it on top, and I'll call this one apple explosion. Right? And let's really hide the other ones, or just solo this layer so the other ones will be hidden. What I need to do here is select this layer, zoom over, and just create a circular mask around it so that I just get the apple. Of course, I need to spend some time making that more precise, but otherwise, there it is. I can grab the points, move them around, change the orientation. Okay, so I'm going to consider this as good. and that's it. So that's the apple really. So if I show everything now, uncheck the solo, nothing happens so far. So if I just press play, it's just that shadow that's disappearing, but that's the right beginning. So I'm gonna select the apple explosion, and I'm gonna go to effect and simulation, and the effect I like to use is pixel poly. So what this will do is actually break the apple or whatever is selected into chunks like this. So what I would do here is change the gravity, right? So you can increase the gravity or decrease it to make them fall down. The spinning will make them rotate, right? So let's keep it set to 1 rotation. So throughout the animation it will rotate 1 time each particle. The force center is very important. It's where the explosion is starting from. So if I want it to start from here, I'll place the force center down here, and then they will go in the opposite direction. Alright? Now, I'm still seeing the shadow of the first apple, and to actually solve it, I select that layer and press U to get to the keyframes, and I'll bring this even closer. So, much better now. You will not really see it when you play the animation faster than this. Okay, so that's not bad. And let's go back to the effects. And let's see. So the force, the stronger the force, the stronger the explosion. Alright, and what I need to do is change the size of the chunks. So this is done under grid spacing. You decrease the size from here. Alright. We don't really want to see any triangles for this effect, so we decrease that. Remember, this is not 100%, so if I zoomed over, I would see the triangles. So I want to go to something like 2, which should make my effect more randomized. Alright, so deselect everything and press play, and there is my effect. Yeah, we are gonna add physical aspects to the explosion, but not today. Alright, so that's how you create the exploding apple effect.